Swati is certainly one of the most unhinged characters you've played in a while.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled to get this opportunity. Such a long, interesting, complicated character. It was a very challenging series, actually, because we all have to really know what's happening. How much is registering in a close, what it's looking like from far. Oh, lovely, yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I've been a long time fan, but this is the first time we're meeting, actually. But yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Congratulations on Killer Soup. I think Swati is certainly one of the most unhinged characters you've played in a while, if I may say that.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about your reaction when you first read the script and whether you had any questions regarding to the character which you asked in the first place. Yeah.
I was thrilled to get this role because I had been wanting to work with Abhishek for a long time. I think ever since I saw his first film, Ishkia with Vidya, and I loved it so much. And I knew that it just seemed like I could connect, and it seemed like, my world. So I had been wanting to work with him for a long time, and he's consistently done such interesting work. So when this came to me, I was just... I was so excited, and I think the reading the script was just a formality for me because I would have agreed to anything that Abhishek wanted me to act in. And then, of course, I was getting to act with Manoj Bajpayee, who I've been such a long time admirer of his work. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled to get this opportunity and I mean, I think I would have agreed to even a cameo or something with Abhishek, but it turned out to be, a series and such a long, interesting, complicated character in a series. And I had not done a crime thriller before. So I love crime thrillers. I love the genre. So I was absolutely, I was really eager to explore this character. And I knew that with someone like Abhishek, that I would be in good hands. And this is the kind of tone which we've not seen too much of. This dark humor, but, actually a crime thriller. That is something that I've not done before. So I was very, very, I was eager to do this.
Talking of a complicated character, I was just stunned because there were 8 episodes, hour long, and there were so many twists and turns. Yeah. I was just wondering while I was watching it, that did the shoot happen in order? And if not, then how did you even conceptualize everything? Because that's a different headspace whenever you're in a different scene. How was that?
It's so complicated, yeah. It is quite complicated. But, thing is, we can never shoot in order. Because what happens is that but usually when you're shooting a film, it's a finite thing, it's like a 2-hour film or something. So you can have a grasp of the plot. But here, because it's across 8 episodes and it's such a complicated plot in terms of more than complicated, it's so unpredictable in its twists and turns. Things that you can't anticipate. So keeping track of what all Swati is doing, and at the same time keeping track of the police investigation, that not only has Swati accomplished all this or is doing all this, but how much the cops are keeping up with it, their investigation, Nasir sir's whole track, my interactions with the other people. That is something that was... one had to work hard to be on top of it, especially because you could be shooting something from episode 1 in the morning, you could be shooting something from episode 6 in the evening. So one had to be very clear about the plot lines. And I used to take the breakdown of the script from the ADs, they have a one-liner always to keep track of, okay, this is where we are. Now we're doing episode 5, so ye ho gaya hai. One has to be on top of that so that 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 the character knows what's going on and you're not just guessing. So that is something that you have to be on top of in a crime thriller particularly, but the plot is important, and and it is what the characters are doing, why the characters are behaving in a certain way, the consequences of those actions is all entirely related, so that was very, very interesting. And that was quite a challenge as well.
I'm very surprised because just keeping track of that must have been a task. But I'm also fascinated in the sense that I
had a lot of support from the crew, because the crew spends so much time with the script, actually, that they always know the breakdown really well. So, of course, as an actor, you have to prepare. Ki tomorrow I have these scenes, so you have to learn the lines. You have to see yourself what has happened just before. You have to revise all of that. And the ADs and the script supervisor, and of course, Abhishek was on top of the plot. Like, I mean, I used to joke and say we should do a pop quiz, at the end of the schedule and see who knows the most. Because we all have to really know what's happening.
Yeah. I'm also, while I was watching it, I was also fascinated with the way Swati is styled. Like even the way she wears her hair, or even the vermilion on her forehead is a plot point in itself.
Yes.
I was wondering whether all of that was included in the script from the beginning, or whether there were any changes that you tweaked in or maybe suggested. Were there any changes like that?
See, all of this was, as you said, written into the plot. Like her bindi had to be that rising sun kind of bindi. So our look tests were very detailed and extensive. Of course, for Prabhakar and Umesh playing Prabhakar, which I christened Pramesh, the third character. And largely we are dealing with Pramesh. But even for Swati's, her look, that is something which Abhishek, Anuj Dhawan, who's our cinematographer, Shivang Kapoor, who did the costumes, just fantastic work. They did so many tests for the bindi. They had different kinds of bindis, how much is registering in a close, what it's looking like from far. And then we had to make all those bindis like a tattoo, so like a sticker tattoos every day so that it looks the same also, because it can fall off. It's not something you can draw because, it can get erased or wiped away. Sometimes I'm getting wet in the rain. It was a very challenging series actually, because I've never had to do so much action, even though I'm not actually killing and cutting or pushing people as such. But, I'm falling, I'm underwater. There were many little things. And the Tamil I had to speak, getting slapped around, dragging bodies, injecting morphine, whatever. It was just, I've never had to do things like this before. But it's the attention to detail, the thoroughness of the prep that the team had. It's such a wonderful team we worked with. Everybody said, because we were also away in Kerala for 3 months all together. And we really got to know each other well. And every department was so thorough. And I think starting from Abhishek Chaubey, who really set the tone, and his ADs, all of them, the prep was so thorough that it made actually the actor's job easier.
Wow.
And lastly, improvise very much. I really didn't have to, because how can you improvise? You have to make sure that, you're still hitting those points so the plot and all, falls perfectly and makes sense. So you can't really improvise. I mean, except for a few lines here and there, which also I've hardly done because I've tried to stick to, the dialogues that were written by our wonderful writers.
That's wonderful. And lastly, a question I wanted to ask since some time, because since the last few weeks, I don't know if you've noticed, all the channels and all the papers there have been reports about Wake Up Sid 2, because there were pictures of you with Ranbir and the cast of the film. But then it came as an ad, and it was such a wonderful surprise with the advertisement, because it's been 15 years since Wake Up Sid has released. I mean, how was the experience getting back with the team, shooting, and even the little pointers that are spread across the advertisement that remind us about that film? How was that experience?
So lovely, yeah, because actually, I mean, it's mainly the actors. So, of course, Ranbir, when Ranbir, Namit, Shikha, when 4 of us were working again, we were also like, oh my God, we were such babies back in the day. Even Ranbir, it was just a sec. I think he had just done Savaria at that time. So he was also a baby, And today I was working with him after Animal, and he's become such a big star. Even Namit and Shikha, they've all done such great work. We were meeting after so long. It was a great reunion of sorts. Of course, we missed Ayan. But we had the wonderful Shakun Batra, who also I've been wanting to work with. He's a wonderful director. So I was so lucky. I was so surprised actually first when they came for this ad. I was like, really? Wake Up Sid 2 ka ad you're doing, But I didn't anticipate that it would be so popular and so many people would want a sequel.
Isn't that lovely and such a wonderful feeling that people remember the film?
Because people really relate to that film. They really relate to Aisha Banerjee, because Mumbai is also a city of migrants, it's full of young women, young men who come from their towns and cities, to fulfill their dreams, their hopes, their ambitions, and they really relate to these characters, So that's
I
actually
relate to it a lot.
participate in other people's journeys, because as an artist, you want to connect to people. That's the main thing.
So, speaking of relatability, I think I am also Aisha Banerjee's biggest fan. I am one of those people who, like crazy, because I put that picture of you from the film that's still where you are decorating the wall.
Yeah.
That thing.
And the picture of those key elements in the ad also.
Yeah. And so I did that when I was shifted to another house, and even I put that picture on my Facebook cover picture. So just imagine the amount of love I have for Aisha Banerjee.
That's too lovely, yeah. And it goes across, I think, gender and, class. And I think Amrita Mahakal Nakai, the production designer of that film, Wake Up Sid, she's so talented. She was so good. It was such an original thing. And even till today, people are using that as inspiration, that look.
It was wonderful talking to you, and all the best. I hope you have a great year ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much.